actually shut down. So, it was pretty scary very early on in March. Bo, our CEO and one of the founders, said, I can guarantee that you're all going to be paid through Christmas, but I have no idea what's going to happen after that. And he's always one to try and take care of us as best as possible. It really is a true family style company in that way. But we've been very lucky and very privileged the past few months. We set out on a new venture with Nordic Shield. We started producing hand sanitizer, which is somewhat new in a lot of parts of Europe. The hand sanitizer that we're used to here in the United States, the Purell and the Germex with the aloe vera and the E vitamins, that doesn't really exist in Scandinavia. And they kind of took it in that direction. It's been extremely successful for us. And our paint and accessory business has been going through the roof. A little bit of background: I started about 3 years ago. I was the first American hire. I was the 17th hire overall. When COVID started, we had about 34 employees, and I believe right about now we're just over 60. We have moved to a new factory for the first time in 13 years. We're about to celebrate our 13th birthday next month. The factory has the ability to more than double our output to keep up with the demand of our paints. And that's something, if you've been dealing with us, is very important to us. The hardest paint to sell is one that you can't keep in stock. So we want to make sure that we have those paints and those hobby tools, those fan favorites and customer favorites in stock for you at all times. So we're really ramping up to cater to the demand and our growth. When I first started, I remember sitting down with Bo and Jonas and just asked them about their numbers a little bit and, what they were expected to do. And they were coming off 3 years of consistent 45, 55% growth. And they were projected to do 80% growth. And we did 88. Last year, we had over 100% growth. And as of June of this year, we were already at 220% growth, which is, it's crazy to think of. It really is. A lot of that is due to you. Let's be honest. The retailers are our number one focus, obviously the end consumer, but when retail is strong, we're strong. And we've had a really strong industry. I'll have to apologize for my dog barking in the background. We've had a family of kittens born underneath our house, and he's constantly going nuts. So I'm sure that you can commiserate with me here. So I apologize for that. But getting back on track, things are great at the Army Painter. If you're not an Army Painter stockist yet, now is a great time to be. We're doing really well. Obviously, we control some very strong licenses in D&D and Dungeons and Dragons. We are Disney approved and Lucasfilms approved, which is very, very cool. And we have a lot of new products coming up. I believe next month we will be unveiling a new product for retailers. You'll see my face again. I will be back in Denmark for this new product launch. It's something completely new to our company and something completely new to retail. I can't tell you too much about it, but I think it's going to be something, if you have and you're strong in role-playing games and D&D, that's really going to impress your customer base. This Friday, this is a little bit of a peek and a little bit of a sneak preview. We've been leaking this ever so slowly on our social media and our video tutorials. This is the metallic colors paint set. This has been a labor of love at the Army Painter. Something that we really came up with, some colored metallics for people to paint their miniatures and models with. It includes metallics effects paint, so you can take any of our works and turn it into a metallic by mixing in the dust, very aptly named. It also comes with some mixing balls free. And last week, we unveiled the 4th installment to the D&D Nolzur's Marvelous Pigments range. This is the Undead paint set, which comes with the exclusive, there we go, Acererak miniature. We published the video tutorial, which is available on YouTube now. Next week, you should see the assembly tutorial. This is sure to be a great seller. This is the 4th installment that brings the D&D up to 66 paints in total. It is a complete range of paints for all of your RPG players, your D&D fans at your stores. Just going to check the chat here to see if I'm missing anything. Audio is fine. Thank you all. Everything sounds great. My dog is going absolutely nuts. That means that the cats are probably on the back porch. I apologize again. We're going to get back to the real business here. Hey, Hutchie, quiet down. We're going to talk about the racking system. This is why we're here. This is what has made our so successful. This is what has made, got a nice little ding there. This is what has made our company and our retailer so successful, is our racking system. We unveiled the full paint rack, the Technique, years ago. Our best, nice and strong. It has our color primers, it has our brushes, and of course our paints and quick shades on it. I'm just going to scroll up here, and you can see that the paint racking system retails for $2,446 US. Available at your Alliance. It comes with 378 war paints. That is 3 of each color. We double up on some of the stronger colors like our Strong Tone and Matte Black. Those are our #1 selling paints, obviously. Each of these sets comes with our bottle propulsion device and brush support set. These are to keep your set nice and clean and organized on your rack. We did a poll our retailers at Gamma a couple years ago, and it turned out that about 47 minutes, I believe it was spent a week by our retailers adjusting and adjusting and cleaning the rack. The bottle propulsion device is designed to make sure that it autofills. It's a really nice, clean presentation. So $2,446 retail. We don't know what your margins are, so we talk about retail with everything. If you buy any one rack today or whatever the period of time is for your show special, you will get 5% off any one rack. When you buy both, and we're getting to the next rack here in a moment, you'll get 10% off that total purchase. So let's get to that next rack. The tool racking system, everything in these 2 racks, you have everything that you need to assemble, prime, paint, wash, and base your models. So the tool rack has everything that you need, brushes, clippers, our hobby knife, our glues, our basing materials, our tufts, which are a huge seller. They're one of our top categories at the Army Painter. And it also has a few products in there that traditionally retailers had a difficult time stocking. Things like our rust-proof high-grade stainless steel mixing balls and empty mixing bottles. We did some price comparisons with where hobbyists were going and gamers were going to buy these online, on eBay, on Alibaba, things of that nature. And we tried to price it right at the average price, if not 10% below. So they can never come to you and say, well, I can get it cheaper online. Good luck trying. So this retails for $1,130.27. You can factor in about 50%, 60%, depending on what your margins are. When you do buy both racks, you're almost getting the tool rack for free. Not quite, but almost. It's a worthy addition. If you don't have the tool rack yet, I urge you to talk to some retailers and some of the Alliance family members about how successful they've been with it. It really is a great seller, and it presents really well. As we'll see in the next slide here, they're about the same size. You can take off the corners. You can see it behind me. You can take these slides off them up against each, and in about 4 foot of space. It doesn't take up a whole lot of space on your retail floor. You have a really clean and nice presentation there. So I'm just going to leave this slide up for a minute. I want to go into the chat and see if anybody has any questions. Dang, we just bought this rack last month from 3 Gear Studios. For the win, the tool rack, put boxes, or for what it's worth, put the boxes on the bottom are OOOP. I'm not sure what that means. Somebody will have to help me there. But any more questions? There's split tool and paint rack. We are very limited on space. There is not yet. It's something that's come up very little bit, not very often with our retailers. It really does save quite a bit of space. There's a retailer actually locally to me, trying to think of the name, Big Easy Comics, a great store in Covington, Louisiana. They actually back theirs up and then they flank them with other displays on either side. It takes up very little space, and it's a really nice setup that they have going on there. Out of production. But the boxes on the bottom are out of production. They shouldn't be out of production. I'll have to double check that. But we have other things to replace them. A lot of changes and a lot of things are happening. We have a lot of new paint sets and tool sets happening, but they should not be out of production. I will have to verify that. You can always, if you have any questions about that, definitely reach out to sales@thearmypainter.com. They should not be out of production. The bottom, what's this box on the bottom and tap glue? I don't have a status on the boxes. We producing them. the issue that we've had with our glue is labeling. In the United States, um, some kind of changes have been made to how we have to get them approved and labeled. These come down to like NTSC and stuff like that. And we had literally a container, maybe 2 containers of just glue, and they've been held in Chicago because we changed the labels. It's something that we're working on, but the government here is constantly changing and changing slowly. So anytime we update the labels with what they want and finally get it to them, it's been a little bit difficult, but we are working very, very hard to make sure that we can get our plastic glue, our PVA glue, and our super glue back in stock soon. Last I heard, I believe that we've made some pretty good progress, so keep an eye out for that. Laser pointers, I think, they fall on John Pearson. I think that they fall into that same category. There have been some changes, and it just comes down to the American government. But it's something that we're definitely working on. Game Haven, you've had trouble finding the info for the bottom 2 items also. That's something, check with the distributors. We're still making them. I don't believe that they are out of print. I would have known, the sales team would have told me before I entered into this if they were out of print. We are still making products, and in fact, we're making products, more than ever before. So that's something that you might want to talk to your sales rep and have them talk to the buyer at Alliance. We can talk with them to make sure. I'm going to take down some notes to make sure that they do have those products in stock real soon. Mark Armstrong loves our glue products. Thank you very much. Fun Factory Hobbies, 77.5 inches tall. Just measured them both. Thank you very much. Yes, they're the same height. One is about a half an inch wider than the other one. But they do present really cleanly. And the other nice thing about the paint rack is that from the back side, you don't have to fill them from the back with the bottle propulsion devices, so you can butt them right up against the wall if you'd like to. Yeah, Fun Factory Hobbies, that's it. They have glue in them, and that's part of the government issues. That would make 100% sense. I'll have to talk to our sales team about that and just make sure that is the case with, I believe it's the Battlefield's basing set and the hobby toolkit. So, yep, very, very, very good point there. Just bought the 2 racks of the Alliance. I could sure use the bottle propulsion device for other existing displays. Unfortunately, Emily, not as of yet. We've only produced enough. They're $250 is our cost on them, and we give them to you for free. We don't have enough to sell for other displays, and we can't guarantee that they'll work with the other displays either. But that's something that I can pass on the team, definitely. And you can always email sales@thearmypainter.com. Tower Games, the paint rack is great. Really like the spray display, and the brushes are set up nicely. Thank you very much, Tower Games. And with the brush support system, it really helps the brushes display nicely because they are confined containers. The bottoms of the brushes aren't going to fall and slip inside of that display. Pretty slide right in there. We have tutorials on our YouTube. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. We have tutorials for your customers and our retailers alike. Any thoughts about a shelf for the top for the D&D paint sets? On Board Games and Family Fun, that's something that we've definitely talked about. D&D has been huge. When we were at Gamma just this past March, we talked to all of our distributors, and more than one, and they are not United States based, had said that our D&D paint sets were their #1 selling line items and SKUs from their entire catalog. So it's really growing. Obviously, we don't quite have, I don't know, the product database to fill out a rack and justify a rack just yet, but that's something that may be coming in the future as this line continues to grow. Dragon's Lair Comics and Fantasy Houston, is the brush support system available separately? We have y'all's brush rack, but the brushes flop all over. There's no bot. Right. We don't make the brush rack anymore. I have one over here, actually. It was, I think, the last one available back in Denmark, and they let me steal it and bring it home. It will not fit in the old school brush rack, unfortunately. You might be able to, it's just PVA. You might be able to do it, but it's not available separately. You can, if you have ordered a rack, paint rack or haven't received the bottle propulsion devices or the brush support set, please contact your rep. I believe Alliance keeps it as a second SKU or line item. Just make sure that you get it. They are for you to use. We want our products to display nicely, so please ask Alliance and contact your rep so that you can get your hands on them. Fun Factory put them on the presently unused bottom of the tool rack. I'm so sorry about that, Fun Factory Hobbies. It is a real shame. It's been a comedy of errors, if I'm being honest, trying to get the glue back through. We're not quite sure why the regulations changed and why they continue to change, but it's something that we've been working on since February. We're just kind of at the will of the American government at this point in time. We carry 4 paint lines, need to make room for your paints. You won't be disappointed. One of the great things, if you do carry other paint lines, and I won't mention names, I like to call them the other guys or other girls. Army Painter presents a very unique option. Number one, because of D&D, majority of the paints are 100% match. So when they buy the box set and they run out of Bugbear Brown, they can look on the side of the paint bottle and they can find a replacement on your paint rack, number one. Number two, if you look at the way our paints are designed and priced with our 100% color matching system, our color primer sprays and our war paints that have the same name, for example, Angelic Yellow, Demonic Yellow, not Angelic Yellow, they have the same pigments. So when somebody primes their army or their model with that spray primer and they mess up, they can go back and it's 100%. So they can really quickly and easily tidy it up. That's been a fantastic selling point for our customers, and it's why people love the system. And our primers are a true primer. They're not just spray paint. They prime and they adhere to the model. The interesting thing about our paints is that when you look at them compared to the other guys, 8-liter bottles. I actually have an example right here. I'm going to switch back to my screen. Just give me 1 second. There we go. So here we have my all-time favorite color. This is Kraken Skin, and this is a mix that I made with our empty mixing bottles, which come on the tool rack. This is a 12 milliliter bottle. It looks kind of small. That's the same amount of paint that you get from the other guys. Our paints come in at 18 mils, and they retail for under $4. I believe $3.25 is our recommended pricing for the United States at this point in time. So it's a great value proposition when you compare the two. And what I found, being an avid gamer, myself, a lot of my friends, they buy into a certain game system. They buy the paints that are associated with, and then they get pretty sick and tired of spending, $5.50 bottle of paint that drop your paint out with this. It's a really, really easy way to market this to your customers, is that it's a spill-proof dropper bottle. It won't dry out, heavily pigmented, and you're getting more for less money. That's just the reality there. TurboDork, interesting. TurboDork is they make some really cool stuff. We haven't ventured into color shifts, but again, I'm just going to go back to our metallic colors. This is something that I think is going to be really exciting for your customers. We will go live with that later this week. So be on the lookout for a message from our sales team on that. Any other questions? I want to hear from the team here, hear from our retailers. What's working for you? What's not? I would love to know. Forgive if you mentioned this already, but from where to the ship to the distributor, that's my number one issue with Vallejo. Well, I actually have, I'm pretty well versed with Vallejo. I think the major issue and the difference between us and some of the other paint companies is that we actually do monthly orders for all of our distributors. Every month we are shipping containers across the United States, or from Denmark to the United States. We produce all of our paints in-house. They're made in Denmark. They're Nordic Swan. Nordic Swan is an eco label in European countries. It means it's safe for the environment. They're safe for children, safe for animals. All of our products are made in Denmark, and we ship orders monthly to all of our distributors. So it's very rarely an issue that we are out of stock of something. From my experience, some of the other paint manufacturers are not shipping monthly. They're shipping biannually at best. So we are ramping up our production. We continue to increase our production. I mean, we've already doubled, and we're getting close to tripling our production capability. So stock should never be an issue, provided that our friends at Alliance are keeping stock and keeping up to date and doing their forecasting, and they usually do a very good job of that. Just going to go through the chat here. D&D sets are selling well. John, I'm glad to hear that. From what I understand, I mean, we knew D&D would be a great license, and we're very excited to have that and share that with Gale Force 9 and Wizards. But it's been really huge for us. It's been really great. Do we offer new labels for display rack when products are discontinued or changed? The Game Haven, that's not happened yet. That's kind of the nice thing about our paint rack, is that it's not going anywhere. We're not removing colors. They were thought over very much. We put a lot of thought into the colors that we were going to add. I'm sorry, guys. Can you hear me now? Yes, I'm good. Okay. I apologize for that, everybody. I'm not sure what happened there. I was going back to, let me see here, top 25 list of paints and tools, Dream Days. We don't have that. It's something that I would like to talk to. Yes, welcome back. Dream Days, good. We don't have a top 25 list, but that's something that I could secure from sales, and you could too. We're very happy to provide you with a list of our best-selling items. Obviously, you know your customers better than we do, but we can give you a good idea of what's working. And going back to, yes, the dog probably did eat my internet. Yeah. I'm lucky with the internet that I have living down here in southeastern Louisiana. That said, and apologies for my dog Hush. Apologies for the distraction. But regarding our top selling item, our selling item that we have in our full catalog is the Mega Paint set. If you have an online store, it's something that sells a little bit better online, but it's a great thing to have, especially this time of year as we get closer to Black Friday, as we get closer to the holidays, because it's that one item that every hobbyist wants, because it includes a great selection of our paints at a very, very good price. It is the investment. I recommend stock depending on how big your store is, because you never know if somebody's wants to a little bit, and it's also like if you they it's a high and when they go right back and they're going to replenish from caught up here. Any more questions? How much we have left? My timer's not working, unfortunately, but here for anything else that you guys might want to know. Sword and Stone Games. Yep. So he's an internet fiend. Let's talk about the new Masterclass dry brushes. That's something that I failed to talk about. If you haven't, are available now. Mine are a little up because I was in some terrain for a product line that we're going to be unveiling just in a few weeks here. This has been a great seller, and in the line and in the same vein as our palette, there are other much higher end versions, much more expensive. Yes, Dream Days, email me directly at adam@thearmypainter.com. I'm just going to type that in here. Full disclosure, I'm not a sales guy technically. I am the media director, so I handle community outreach. I put my sales guy hat on when I come to these events. But I will give you the sales at the Army Painter address as well. So there they are. If you'd like to reach out to me, if your customers ever have a question about our products that you'd like answered, if you have a question about our products that you'd like answered in a video, just and let me know. And if you have any questions that I might be able to answer, if you have any questions to answer, happy to help. And if it's something that I can't, people that can. The Masterclass dry brush set. There are options on the market, and they're somewhat successful with their product range, but it is a high ticket item. We saw an opportunity to design something for the masses and priced for the masses. So for $19.99, my other one, you get a 3-pack. Our new dry brush. These are handmade in Germany. Our Wargamer brush. We have the Masterclass miniature. This is the moderate, and this is the mighty dry brush. They come in 3 different sizes. They feature dome-shaped bristle. They're great for different techniques like push blending, stippling. It's a new trend in the painting and gaming world. It's something that is moving pretty quickly. I wonder if it'll be quite as successful as palette. Time will tell, but it's been good so far. Definitely check with Alliance. They should have stock of it. I don't know if they've run out of stock just yet, but these are pretty quality. And if you want to, you're packaged in a way that you could put them on the tool rack. You can just replace it with something else. The nice thing about the tool rack is that it has a metal hanger that flips up. You can write your pricing on there if you want. People put tape on top, and they just write on the tape. That way they can peel it off. But if you are just keeping the product stocked on the tool rack, it does have the product printed very small. So it's very easy to you've got your book, you dry brush set. This is definitely along with the palette of airbrush medium. You heard about this one? This is Product number two that I'm developing is a 2-in-1 airbrush thinner and flow improver. Um, this is thins your paints perfectly for airbrush use. It's done. These three products have been definitely us from paints and accessories and specified paints. The dry brushes are great. They're nice, selling well. Great to hear that's how our games. Shocked to have been allocated. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to keep me in the dark sometimes. They just lately, since I can't different Adam trying to how much time. Okay. Any final questions